So Mexico was already, that's when I did my MBA. So we still have another Asia.
But it's a cool stop, so we gotta go. All right. So okay, so as we drove along, what characteristics can we say of Follett Island? How tall is it? What's the tallest point?
Sand house.
Well, okay, what's the tallest natural point?
Sand dunes.
Sand dunes, a little bit, but most of those are bulldozed.
Road.
Yeah, the road is actually one of the tallest, one of the highest points, right? So not very high, right? What do we say about the width as we're coming down through here? What's the width of this island?
Quarter to a half mile.
Yeah, pretty skinny, right? So pretty skinny as we're going along. Because I mean, just on the other side of those houses over there, that's the Gulf of Mexico. And then you can see Christmas Bay over there. That is the bay. And this is actually one of the little bit thicker portion through here for certain reasons.
I've been across both that bay and
Follett Island, right? So there are, so there's a couple different types of barrier islands, right? There's one that's up here, it's like this, that is more of a regressive island, and one that's more as a prograding, which this is on page 23. So which one do you think Follett Island is?
It's the top one.
The top one, yeah. I mean, it's skinny and tall, and it's actually not a lot of sand, right? So Follett Island is regressing. It's actually moving landward the fastest of all the barrier islands around Texas, a couple meter a year or so a year, right? So one of the hallmarks of this regressive type of island is washover deposits, right? Because it's only limited because the sand supply is limited. And so when storms come, it takes whatever's on the beach and moves it behind. And so it's only got a little bit of sand, and so this whole sand pile is moving backwards. That's what Follett Island is doing. So we got to figure out, why is Follett Island sand starved?
Well, they moved the Brazos River?
Nope, that's all down there. That's past
okay.
Longshore Drift, doesn't affect it here.
They're stopping it at Galveston?
Well, not quite, but a little bit. There's a little bit of that. We can't actually answer it from here, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out the next stop.
Okay, perfect.
All right. So, but we have a sediment supply problem here, right? We'll see Galveston Island is more like this prograding one with all these sand ridges. That's where you have an excess of sand. Well, why does that happen? So when we'll think about sand supply issues when we hit on the next few stops when we get to Galveston Island. Why this one's sand starved, and why Galveston Island is pretty much sand rich. All right. When we were walking over here, what were we walking over?
with a little sand on it.
Oh, well, feel it. What is this?
It's sand.
What's
Is this a washover
fan?
this? Is pretty sandy.
Yeah.
It's got an extra little bit of mud in there because it doesn't fall apart. When I squeeze it together, it kind of hangs together. So it's got a little bit of extra silts and clays in there to kind of hang it together. So, but it's not, you know, like silly putty or Play-Doh as we had before. But it is very sandy, right? But what environment are we in?
Back barrier.
We're in the back barrier environment. Yeah. The beach is over there, right? The 5-foot lagoon is right there. I mean, we are in, what's the energy of this system right here? How much energy is going on here? Pretty much none, not much at all, right? But we're standing on a pile of sand.
But the sand is squishy compared to the other stuff.
Well, over there, yeah, it's squishier than normal because it's got lots of, it's pretty water saturated.
That's why I was wondering if it was organics underneath it. So.
No, not too much, but there's organics on top of it, right? So we are sitting here. Sorry, thank you. So we are at stop. Let's see on page. What page are we at nowadays? So stop 6. So 57. So look at page 57, and we are at stop 6. Stop 5 is another back barrier environment. That's all muddy, and it's going to be even worse with mosquitoes. So we're not stopping there. But you can see from this 1950. I haven't changed. No, 1944. Yeah, 1944 aerial photography here. Before the road went in, we see this nice washover fan, this washover deposit. It's going in this break in the dunes, right? And you're actually seeing all the white is sandy stuff. You're actually seeing a little washover fan on the side of it, on that side of it as well. But you're also seeing this dark stuff. Those are actually even distributary channels. So it's actually coming through here and forming a truly distributary complex. And then where we're sitting today, you can see that it's now shut off, but you can see some remnants of those distributary channel portions, right? That's still there. This open water right there, that's one of those distributary channels right behind us. And that still water, that water right there, that was open, and that was where the washover would come in here, maintain a little bit of extra energy, just like every other distributary complex, every delta, every submarine fan system, bring a little bit more energy to keep the class, keep the grains in suspension and moving, and then when it's spread out, it couldn't unconfined, then it could deposit.
Was San Luis fast open at that time?
Oh yeah, yeah. But this was it broke through here. There was a storm, broke through the low point in the dunes, and then just kept going, just kept active until probably the road came in and stopped it all off. So there was a low point here. I'm not too sure if there's a low point there now. So I'm not too sure if I want to be building right where they used to be, you know. But so you can see that from the white, that's where all this sandy deposit was. That's what we're standing on. We're standing on a non-active, big, pretty large washover system. That's why that row of houses is there. If you wanted to build over here in the marshland, is that a good place to build?
No.
Where's my geoengineers? What do you got to worry about over there?
Subsidence.
Yeah, major subsidence, right? And actually, as you go in some of these, if you go along some of these things, you even get water and even lowland in here and stuff. But they could build this row of houses here and also build a canal is because of the sand, because we're standing on this washover fan. So as you notice, as you go along, there's nothing there, right? No houses that way, not much houses that way, because all that's mud and muck in that normal back barrier world where it's very low energy. And so only mud is being deposited. It's just every once in a while, you're in some spots that break through and you get this nice washover fan system. So, yeah, we're at the, okay. Oh, it's beautiful water now. Yeah. So. Oh, where somebody grab my my trowel? That's my slabbing. Oh, here, take it. I'll take it. A little slabber. So let's slab this guy.
Spray is an amazing invention. If you take vitamin B1, it'll give a smell on your skin that they won't land anybody.
Vitamin B1?
Yeah.
All right. So what can we see in there? Somebody come over there and describe that. What kind of stuff can we see?
Some type of streaking, potentially.
You see bedding because the grain size variation isn't huge,
Right.
and we're not getting too much of a thickness.
But particle grain size appears to increase with depth.
Yes, I would see that. Can everybody see that? As you get deeper,
Yeah,
are you seeing a lot more of these little white specks? These little shell hash? And actually, pulling out through here, look at that. This was down there deep. A nice big bit of a oyster shell.
Yeah.
Right? Where do we see this grain size? Higher energy, yeah. Where on the beach?
The beach, yes.
Have we ever seen anything back here? Like, could it move this grain size back here?
Today.
No, not even close. So you had to have a really high energy episode in order to move that grain size back through here. So we're seeing back in here at this layer, that's the highest energy that was forming in this washover fan system. So you can see it's taking beach material, but it's taking at the highest energy at the beach to just move that. But it needed the highest energy.
But aren't
But
oysters
we
going to
moved
be
that.
in the back
What?
barrier? Aren't oysters going to be in the back area, as opposed to the different kinds of shells? Aren't those going to be back in there? That's where
You're
they-
still going to have them out front too, as well. Yeah, you got oyster reefs and the dead things, but that's a broken up piece.
Oh, okay.
So you have to break that up first. It's going to be very hard if something was living out there and oyster was there, breaking that up because you don't have enough energy. So I had to have enough. That oyster shell had to experience enough energy to break it up, storms out offshore, crashing together, you know, banging along, and then washing it up on the beach, and then big storm come through and then pushing it over into the washover fan. So some of the coarsest grain material that we've ever seen is now sitting here in this back barrier world. And that's what these washover systems can do. And if you can get one this is one of the best established ones here in Follets and Galveston Island, is this washover fan system through here. Now, this is kind of reasonable. We like this because you are putting nice winnowed, very well sorted, well-rounded, nice mature sand from the beach into this back barrier world where what is the dominant grain size? Back in here.
Mud.
Yeah, mud's maybe silts at the most. So you're putting nice porous permeable material into this back barrier world where it's dominantly mud. What's going on to the sides? When you get away from this washover fan, what's being deposited there?
Mud.
That's the mud, yeah. What's going to happen on top of this?
More mud.
Eventually more mud, depending upon what?
Sea level?
So yeah, it depends upon whether the shoreline comes this way, then you're going to put offshore mud on top of this. Or if it goes that way and sea level rises, then the bay is going to go that way and you're going to put back bay muds back on here again, and the shore is going to go out, and so you can't get washover stuff anymore through here. So you are encasing this washover fan in seal.
If you didn't have the road there, and this was the area that was.
But what you're saying, future deposition under these conditions, you said if it's coming from the sea this way, that it would still be mud deposition. Why would that be?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to say that. No, if you are having a breach with washover deposits, it is by bringing sand from the beach onto here. Yeah,
okay, I misunderstood.
That's being cut off. And so what used to be the corridors of bringing sand are now shut down and just being these very benign environments, very low energy, with only mud being filled in, and now you got your mud plug in your channel.
Gotcha. But if you transgress, you're going to see maybe some of the beach come over and then the mud.
Yes, yes. So as you transgress, that whole coarsening upward sequence is going to come along with it. Yep. Just getting an area acreage for them. And then assigning some sort of thickness value, and then some sort of net volume per acre foot is kind of what we do it here on the Gulf Coast, and assigning just Gulf Coast oil and gas per acre foot. You can see this washover fan. If it's gas, this washover fan in this extent, this can hold almost 5 BCF of gas. So if you just look at going a little bit that way, going some over that way, you can kind of figure out where we are, and from the beach out to the bay, that is 230 acres. So you're standing on a 5 BCF field. Or if you put oil in here, you're standing on 1.7 million barrels of recoverable oil. So we are in the middle of an oil field, or a potential gas field, and this is what it looks like with all the distribution. So you should be able to see those edges on seismic. You should be able to recognize this in core and in well logs, because this is not going to have that shoreline going up, that nice thickening and coarsening upward trend. It's going to be back barrier mud, bams, beach sand, maybe some more mud, beach sand, with these washover deposits that are building up and coming back through time. They're not a gradual thing, they come in pretty quick. And then they stop. And this thing is stopping pretty quick as well. But then also knowing that in that almost 2 million barrel field, you got places where you have potential mud and baffles and barriers across there, so you can get compartmentalization.